All right, so let's get started then with our very first discussion today. And I'm here with Dr. Emmanuel Nyenze, who's an ophthalmologist. Karibu sana to the show.
Thank you
And
so
we want
much.
to talk about how to keep our eyes healthy.
Mhm.
So many people will suffer from simple, but they sometimes end up escalating into quite severe eye problems. And in many ways, I feel like our eyes are some of those things that we take for granted. Like we'll say, oh, sioni vizuri, tutasema tu, ni vile tu nimechoka. Right, like, and you never know, like there could actually be something else behind that, and so there's some simple steps that we could be doing also just to keep our own eyes healthy now and prevent the chances of vision loss in the future. So talk to us about the eyes. I feel like it's one of those things we just take for granted. Tunazimwagilia kila kitu, you know what I mean? We just think it's just going to be, painful for a moment and we let it go. I think we almost overestimate the strength of our eyes.
Thank you so much for having me in your program. As I said, my name is Dr. Emmanuel Nyenze. I work with the University of Nairobi and also run a private facility called Max Vision Eye Clinic in Nairobi town. Yes, of course, you agree with me that eyes are among the most sensitive parts of the body. And vision is one of the most important sensations or eyes are one of the most important sensory organs in the body. Actually, somebody did a survey sometimes back about what people dread losing most in their life, and most people dread blindness. So people appreciate that eyes are very important. Everybody knows, and I've seen a blind person, the difficulty life they go through. And with that, they dread that. But when it comes to taking care of their eyes and their vision, most people have failed on it. Every good thing needs to be nurtured and to be taken care of. And that is where we come in and we try to assist people in taking care of their eyes. Apart from blindness, of course, if somebody has ever experienced an eye problem, they know the pain and the discomfort of having an eye problem.
Sure.
And the problems that comes with it.
Yeah.
So vision is not only, taking care of your eyes is not only to prevent vision, but also to prevent suffering from the symptoms that come with eye problems.
Okay. And so the same way we talk about medical checkups, one should also get their eyes checked, at least a few times. How often would you recommend per year for someone to just visit an eye doctor and just get a checkup?
Well, yes, routine eye checkup is also recommended, and the timing is different for different people, because eye conditions are also different for different groups of people. Let's start with children in the first place. Children, eye checkup should start almost after birth, not necessarily from an ophthalmologist, but during the clinic examinations. The people running the eye pediatric or the neonatal clinics and pediatric clinics during immunization and all that, they are supposed at least to have a basic checkup on the eye, because there are some conditions that can be picked at that stage and can save somebody's not only vision, but sometimes even some cancers of the eye can be noticed during those examinations. So, but the routine ophthalmology, if there is no major problem with the eye, should start at the preschool period, between 3 and 6 years. At least the children should be checked for vision. This is the best time to have to start visual assessment, because you can easily quantify how much this child can see through reading from charts and all that. You can easily say that this child has 100% vision, this one has this kind of vision, and you can document with that. So that at least preschool period, by the time a child is through from preschool, should have a visual assessment.
Right.
Because of course poor vision in children will affect their studies, will affect their life in future, and visual improvement in children is also important for the development of the eye. In adults, at least, if somebody has no problem, should be at least between 1 to 2 years. But of course, people with other problems like diabetes must be checked at least yearly. People with a history of glaucoma in the family should have even more frequent checkup.
Right.
People who have other chronic illnesses that affect the eye should have more frequent checkups.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's then talk about some of the best practices to do as far as how we can just take care of our eyes in between those checkups. What are some of the things that you see people doing? Let's talk about the do's and the don'ts, basically. What are some of the things that we do that people should not do? For example, this constant rubbing of the eyes. Is that okay?
Well, it's actually not okay. And if you see somebody who is constantly rubbing the eyes, chances are they have a problem. And the commonest problem has been found that causes a constant itching or rubbing of the eyes is allergies of eyes. This is a very common problem in our setting. And we have noticed that, especially children, you see, these allergies start in childhood. They continue, most of the times they disappear in teenage years. And if you realize that children who have neglected allergies and rubbing, they also develop other conditions which are blinding or can deteriorate the vision so much. Apart from that, there are other issues about, especially home remedies. People are still doing home remedies for eyes. Putting milk from breastfeeding mothers. Yeah, that's a very common practice.
Kwa macho?
Kwa macho, yes. If a child has a discharge from the eyes, the mother squeezes some milk into the eye, and it's a very traditional practice which has been done over years in many communities. It is all recommended because you have to, before you treat something, you have to understand what it is.
Sure.
Yeah, and know what am I putting this thing to do? Because now, do you know why the patient has a discharge? Do you know what the milk is going to do to the eyes? If you don't know, you shouldn't do. Tea leaves is another traditional practice that is done by so many people. They're not the tea leaves, but I don't know how they do it, but they mix with water, tea leaves, and stir it, and then they put in the eyes. And I've had people say, oh, I had this problem, I put tea leaf, it improved. But I've seen others who messed themselves from that. So you wouldn't want to do something which has never been tested.
Sure.
And which has been seen to cause trouble to other people.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, rubbing your eyes, putting all sorts of weird, or let's say uncommon or untested, scientifically or medically tested home remedies would be certainly dangerous.
Yeah.
There's also a lot then to say about the sort of cosmetic things that people now do to their eyes. So I occasionally wear contacts, but they're prescription contacts and they're soft contacts. But a lot of people are really into that whole like contact looks with like change your eye color. So suddenly, you know, they want to have blue eyes or green eyes or gray or brown or whatever. Is that okay to do? Because that's often been a big debate. Of course, there's a huge marketing industry around it. But as an ophthalmologist, what would be your medical opinion?
Well, that's a very controversial field. Contact lenses are good, especially for vision. There are some refractive, that is focusing issues, which can only be treated with contact lenses. The others, of course, some people don't want to wear glasses, they can wear contact lenses. So they are good. For cosmetic purposes, well, contact lenses more or less are safe. But we have seen problems with we have seen problems with people who wear contact lenses, even the normal contact lenses that are worn for vision. You have seen people who are wearing for short-sightedness, but once in a while they get an infection in the eyes. Sometimes they get some form of irritation, some swelling under the eyelid that comes because of chronic irritation from the contact lenses. So it's up to the person to decide. They have to be explained what are the risks and what are the benefits that you are going to get from wearing these cosmetic contact lenses. I will not say that they shouldn't wear cosmetic contact lenses, but they should at least know that there are issues that can arise
especially if they don't handle them well. Because the thing about contact lenses is if you have to make sure they're so clean, your hands are clean, that you've treated and, you know, soaked them well in the fluids and whatnot. And a lot of people, I guess, skimp on that.
Well, yeah, very important. That's a very important point. If somebody is going to wear contact lenses, they have to be very strict with the hygiene, because this is something which is coming directly into the contact with the eye. So it's very easy to introduce an infection to the eye, and once you introduce the infection to the eye, then you don't know where the infection is going to go. Sometimes
Right.
it can go even very wildly, and it causes even irreversible damages to the eye.
Right.
So those are the things that somebody, before they wear contact lenses, they have to, especially cosmetic contact, you have always to weigh the benefits versus the risks that you're putting yourself into.
Sure, sure. Now, also sort of related to that cosmetic line is now just the sort of accessories for eyewear, right? So the spectacles, it's like you can just buy reading glasses anywhere nowadays, but even just the sunglasses, you know, Adams is very popular for people picking up just, you know, cool, fashionable looking sunglasses and whatnot. But is that okay to do, or should we be paying a lot of attention to UV rays and that sort of thing, especially with the sunglasses?
You're right. First of all, it's always good to have your eyes tested before you could wear glasses. The purpose of eye test is not always for the purpose of even getting the power of the glass. The purpose of an eye test before you get glasses is also an opportunity for you to be screened for other conditions. Especially, let's say, for example, the commonest glasses people buy from the street are reading glasses. And reading glasses are needed by people in their 40s, 50s, going beyond. So if you have an habit of changing your eyeglasses in the street, it means you've never had a contact with an eye care professional. So maybe if something is building, or a condition is starting up in the eyes, you've never had a time to get yourself screened. So this is changing or buying of glasses. It's always an opportunity also for the eyes to be checked, to be screened for any other problem that could be there.
Right.
The same with the sunglasses. Of course, the sunglasses have come in. Some of them are very trendy. They look good. But before you get sunglasses are good for they are important for the UV rays protection, as you mentioned.
Okay.
But not all sunglasses have that feature. Others are just, fake things have come with just a tint or a film of a tint just in front of a lens. And then that's you're told that this is an eyeglass, this is a sunglass, which is
so
total
is that
amount.
UV?
That does not
is it
to
a must?
protect. Yeah, UV. If you have to wear sunglasses and it doesn't have a good UV protection, which is even in a quality glass, you'll be even told how much UV protection it can give you. They will tell you, if you go to a professional, this is reduced to this amount. So if you have to wear sunglasses, why should you wear one which is not protecting you from UV rays? It is not helpful at all.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break with that point. But when we come back, Dr. Nyanze will still be here with me. And now we're going to look at some of the do's for proper eye care. And I'm even curious about if there are any particular foods, for example, one should be eating to take care or better care of their eyes. This and so much more coming up next on Full Circle with Joyce. Stay tuned. All right, guys, welcome back to Full Circle with Joyce, and I'm here with Dr. Emmanuel Nyanze, who's an ophthalmologist, and we're talking about how to keep our eyes healthy. Now, just before the break, we were talking about some of the don'ts. But just before we move on, I do want to point out another one. And it's actually also following from a question, or a couple questions that I have here. One, someone says, thank you, Joyce. These guys who earn a living via welding, their eyes are always in danger. Maybe the doctor can advise on precaution. Certainly a good point there. And I don't know if we even have laws around that, because I know everywhere else you have to provide, protective gear, especially for the eyes, right? You see those big goggles. The problem is we see a lot of guys in our Juakali sector wananunua tu sunglasses, and maybe they're not even UV protected, like you're saying. Yeah, but what are the risks that these guys are facing exposed to that work?
Well, that's a very good question. We get a lot of patients from the welders
Oh, yeah?
or doing a grinding work with those sparks getting into the eyes, foreign bodies, very tiny foreign bodies that they wouldn't, if you looked at the eye, you wouldn't notice. But when you use our machines, you can see very small foreign bodies. They're completely irritating. They cause a lot of pain to the eye. Very tiny, but somebody cannot sleep if that
Yeah.
thing is in the eye. And it's a big problem because well, it's a law that you should protect. It's there in the law
It
that
is a law.
somebody or people should provide protective wear to their workers. So it's totally legal for somebody to not to give protective wear to the workers.
Okay.
But there is something else we noticed, which is even a little bit. We have asked a few companies which are notorious for this, and they told us that no, we provide, but they don't wear. So that is another element that we not only provision, but
Enforce
the
that
workers
they have
should
to
be
wear.
sensitized on the importance of
Right.
wearing them.
All
Very
right.
good question.
Absolutely. Another question there on our SMS line, which is 22999, if you want to contribute to this discussion, is, hey Joyce, what would be the cause of persistent headaches that causes the eyes to ache, especially when there is light, say from a phone or TV or the sun, a bulb, or even car headlights? It almost sounds like this person is light sensitive.
Yes. A very common problem, especially in this era of electronics, headache with light. One thing you should realize that if the eye is excessively sensitive to light, it means there's an underlying problem. The sensitivity to light is just a warning to somebody that there is an underlying problem in the eye.
Okay.
And most of the time we are able to pick. If you see us when you come for our examination, we're able to see why is the eye sensitive to light. If the eye gets an infection, it will be sensitive to light. If there is an inflammation inside, it will be sensitive to light. Even allergies, which is usually the commonest cause of sensitivity to light. So excessive sensitivity to light is a sign of there is an eye problem. That is the work of the doctor to look for the eye what is the underlying problem and treat the underlying problem, and somebody will be comfortable in normal light. Of course, excess light is not good, but on normal lighting, somebody should not have that headache from light.
Okay. All right. Well, as we continue, let me read some more questions here. Someone says, hey, I'm John from Siaya, 25 years old with dry eyes after Bell's palsy 3 years ago. Kindly may he talk about dry eyes and management.
Well, that's a very good question too.
Yeah.
Yes,
and also
Bells.
there's a lot of marketing around that too with those eye drops. Is that safe? You can answer that as well.
Oh yeah. Well, even the way we talked again about light sensitivity, one of the causes of light sensitivity is again dryness of the eyes. The eye is supposed to be moist throughout.
Okay.
That's why you blink. You blink to create moisture to the eye. If it dries too fast, then the eyes become very painful and also sensitive to light. So dry eyes is very common. The other causes is the Bell's palsy, is the cranial nerve 7 palsy. If a patient has that condition, they are not able to close that eye properly. And of course, because the eye cannot blink fully and close properly, then the water inside evaporates, the tear film evaporates and gets totally dry.
Right.
So yeah, treatment for the depends on the cause of the problem. Most of the times, just artificial teardrops, the one you're talking about, there are drops called artificial teardrops, are most of the times able to deal with it.
Yeah.
But as I said, Bell's palsy, the main treatment is treat the cause.
Okay.
Why is the patient having the 7 nerve palsy? Can it be treated?
Okay.
And if it cannot be treated, there are other things that we can do. Because severe exposure or severe dryness can actually damage the eye in future. So Bell's palsy,
because it's like a squishy muscle, right? So it needs that moisture around it.
The eye needs the moisture throughout.
Yeah.
Throughout, it needs to be moist throughout. So if somebody like him, we say that he has a Bell's palsy, the eye cannot rehydrate, or the moisture cannot be reproduced every time. So severe dryness can actually damage the eye totally. So it needs to be seen. It needs to be seen and advised accordingly.
Okay. And for everyone else then, is there any way to sort of boost that eye moisture without going or is that like a genetic thing?
Most of the times it's usually, most of the times it's usually just a seasonal problem.
Okay.
Some of them associated with allergies. So most of the times if you put drops for a few days, then the eye is good for some time. And then others are triggered by issues like AC or wind or that. So sometimes somebody just needs to close the eyes briefly for the eyes to moisturize. If you know the symptoms of dryness, you would know what to do, because you need to close the eyes for a few minutes.
All right.
And that works.
Okay, let me get to some more questions then here very quickly, as our time is winding down. But macho yangu huwa inanisumbua. When I was in primary school and high school, nilikuwa naenda kuketi mbele ya ubaoni, the blackboard, so that I can be able to see clearly kile mwalimu ameandika. Naweza pata tiba? Hata siwezi kusoma maandishi kwa TV screen hadi nijisongeze. That's Iman James watching akiwa Mombasa. So does this just sound like that short-sightedness, long-sightedness, or what would you say to this?
Well, yes and no. Yes is the fact that the commonest cause, that is somebody with poor vision. Let's start from there. Then let's go to what are the commonest cause of poor vision. The commonest is, we call it refractive error, either short-sighted, long-sighted, all that. And it's easier to manage, because that's when you give glasses and somebody is good.
Right.
So just that test alone could find out that could solve his problem. But there could be other causes of poor vision. And that's why eye test is important, because you wouldn't know that there is another eye problem which is going on, that needs to be looked into and treated.
Okay. Yeah. So Iman James, please do see someone. It sounds like, we don't assume what the issue is. Yeah. And to that, someone was asking, what's the effect of wearing glasses when you don't have any problem? So and I also want to extend that question to, for those who do have an eye problem and they know it but are wearing the wrong prescription, or you've just cleared, instead of going to an ophthalmologist because you don't want to spend your money for consultation fee, you've decided you're just going to ngangana with your glasses. You know those people who squint and they're wearing glasses. Yeah. So you wonder. But talk to us about the effect of that, about having the wrong eye care around you, and if that can worsen a situation.
Well, the good thing is, in most cases, well, in children it can worsen the situation, but in adults it may not worsen, but it causes the strain to increase if you are wearing the wrong prescription. If you want to wear glasses, sometimes you might not have a poor vision, but it's just the light is too much. With the medication, the light sensitivity is not going, you're getting constant headaches. You can recommend glasses for light and glare, but it has to be, the glass has to fit. All the glasses are custom made. Yeah. Everybody can get a pair of glasses. Somebody who has perfect vision, they can get plain lenses with the protection for light. Yeah. There's no problem with wearing that. There is no problem with totally, but don't go wearing for short-sightedness just because you wanted glasses for light. Right. If you needed glasses for light, wear the plain lenses. That will protect you from light. If you need it for short-sighted, wear for short-sightedness. Okay.
And moving on to these things, right, our digital devices, there's a lot of blue lights and artificial lights that we're exposed to. Can those worsen one's eyesight?
Well, that's a very good question. That's a question we get a lot of time. And surprisingly good enough is that the light from these devices might not damage the eyes. Okay. But it causes strain for people who are predisposed. I'm talking about people who are sensitive to light and they are on glasses or on computer throughout the day. Definitely get a headache at the end of the day. If you are in too bright areas and you stay there throughout the day, also you'll get and
that strain can't worsen one's sort of those numbers they give you, like your 2.5 or your 0.5, that straining can't worsen that condition for you? Well,
it's a complicated kind of thing. Well, the light itself doesn't cause the worsening of the eyes, but what makes worsening, light worsens every symptom, the most symptoms of the eye in terms of the symptoms themselves, but not worsening this condition of the eye. Right. Yeah.
Finally, two things very, very quickly, because I need to wrap up. Are carrots, do they help? Should we be drinking carrot juice or snacking on carrots like we were shown in the cartoons?
Well, very good question. Everybody asks me, should I wear glasses or should I take more carrots?
Yeah.
So that kind of question is very common. Well, carrots are good for the eyes, of course, definitely. They have a lot of vitamin A, and everything which has vitamin A is good for the health. So yes, carrots help, but not because they are specific for the eyes, but good because it's good nutrition.
Okay.
But they will not change. If you are short-sighted and your problem is short-sightedness, you need glasses for short-sightedness.
Yeah.
Carrots cannot help
Okay.
because your problem is not lack of vitamin A.
Right.
You are short-sighted.
Yeah.
So if your problem was lack of vitamin A and you ate carrots and took vitamin A and all those multivitamins, that would help your eye. So
Sure.
most of the cases we see are not the good thing about our nutrition has not been very bad with the eyes because of the variety of things. People have fruit and all that. So our main problems has been, as I said, like short-sighted. Those are treated with glasses, not carrots.
All right. Dr. Asante Sana for being here today and for your
Thank you so
time.
much.
I do appreciate you and all that you've shared with us about ophthalmology, which is the care of our eyes. So hopefully you guys have learned a thing or two there. With that said, we're going to take a short break right now as we get ready for our final segment for the day. We're going to be talking about cosmetic dentistry. Some of you guys, I'm sure, would be interested in this topic, and that's going to be coming up next. Stay tuned. This is Full Circle with Joyce.